We are now live. Barbara, can you see us?
So fun.
Okay, when your followers that you started a live video. Did I not start it? Hello? Okay, wave. I can totally do that. Hi, you guys!
Hi, everyone.
Barbara, where are you? Loretta! How do I get Barbara? Barbara, get up! Okay, let me see if Barbara's there so we can, so excited. Yeah, me too, guys. Thank you for joining today.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, you guys. I'm here with my sister and Olivia, our doggy. Hi.
Say hello, hello.
I want to know if Barbara's there. I love it. Hi. Oh, hi, Loretta, you guys. Oh, we love you, Loretta.
Hi.
Guys, Loretta is also on the chat. She is the voice of Diana Ujilo from... So cool. Barbara! Join us, please. Hi there. Hi, you guys. Hello. Ooh, and
Hi, everyone.
Barbara. How are you? Oh my goodness. So excited. Me too. It's going to be so fun. I have my questions and everybody's questions here. So excited for this. Yes, Sailor M. Yes, we are excited.
Yay.
Barbara.
Yay.
Barbara, are you there? Do you need any help getting on? Is she there?
I'm sure she is.
Oh my goodness. Wave. Okay, wave. Barbara. Oh, let me see if I need to. A sailor yell. Of course, we're gonna get one of those. Hearing their voices makes me feel like a kid again. Me too, right? We're getting such a treat.
It takes me back.
Morning from San Francisco. Woo!
Wow,
San Francisco. How are you? I'm doing good. How are you guys? Oh, ooh, hola. Hi, you guys. Barbara. Does she need any help? Oh my goodness. Where's Barbara?
Look at Barbara.
Mira, ven. Does she need help? I don't know if I should start the live again. Mira,
Do you
ven.
usually send an invite?
No, she needs to get on. Like this. Okay. Flaws or no, Deek's adaptation and their cartoons are like heaven. I totally agree. We have the best generation growing up with the voice actors.
Deek stuff was the best.
In words, well-known song from the first time moment forever.
Wait, I can see her live here.
Okay. Let's see if she... Do you have Barbara? Para escribirle. People are tuning in. Okay, I'll do this. Let's see if Barbara needs any assistance getting on. Barbara. Okay. Let me see. I absolutely adore the Deek version. Yes, the Deek version is the best.
Like it's the We're not being biased at all.
Barbara, do you need any help? I'm trying to get her on, you guys. See if she gets on. I'm not seeing any invitations. I want her to get on. Okay, let's see. Okay. Is she there? Oh, there she is. Okay. Barbara! Yay! Okay, she's here. I was right to her. My sister's like... Do you know how to get on, Barbara? Do you need any help just to do the invitation? Barbara.
Love you.
Okay.
That's nice.
I know.
Oh, It's not gonna fall, right?
No.
Okay.
Now we've got it. Now we've got it. I'm sorry about that. I was expecting you to send me a request. I thought that's how it worked.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm still learning to.
Okay, gotcha. Because actually, we talked when we did our preamble chat. I had done a live video chat with a company about 1 or 2 years ago, and I found my notes, which I didn't mention to you, that I should go to Instagram Live, press live, and then wait for a request from. So that's what I was doing. I was just sitting here going, okay, I'm going to wait for. Yeah, I'm so sorry. If anyone was waiting, I'm so sorry for the delay.
It's okay. We're so happy you're here with us. So many Sailor Moon fans are here to see you. They're so excited.
Hey, everybody. So nice to see. Well, I can't see you. I can only see Daniela. And I'm sorry, I forget your sister's name.
Mirka.
How are you?
Names.
We're so happy you're here.
My mind.
It feels surreal. It feels surreal. I was telling that to Loretta. I think she's also on the chat as well. That it feels surreal talking to you guys. You know, growing up with you, hearing you, and then seeing.
I know, it's surreal.
That means so much to me. I can't tell you.
Oh my God, and to us. Totally fangirling, Red.
You know, when you're an actor and you do a bunch of stuff, and I'm also a writer, and I do a bunch of stuff there too, you don't really necessarily get to experience that what you've done has actually impacted people. Yeah. And with Sailor Moon and the Sailor Neptune character, you know, that's something that I really truly can see has impacted people in a positive way.
For sure.
So that is something that's very special to me. So I'm really thrilled to be talking to you both, and also to anyone who's hanging out with us here today, that I get a chance to share that appreciation back to you, because, you know, we want to make a difference when we choose creative lives, right? We also want to make a difference. Yeah.
Fangirl. All right, should we start the question?
Yeah, awesome.
All right, let me see if anyone really you're good.
Let me see what they were writing.
All right. Okay, we're gonna take turns since she's here. My sister's gonna help out as well. I'm excited that she's here because she wanted to be with Loretta last time, but like I said, it was during the week, so it was hard for her.
No, too bad. Loretta's so wonderful.
I know, she's amazing. I love her so much. I love you both.
And also a super talented writer, writing wonderful books. So buy Loretta's books.
Very talented ladies we have here. Very talented. All right, Barbara, let's start with this question. What got you into voice acting, and what job were you doing before voice acting?
Okay, so I wanted to act from a very young age. I actually wanted to write to be a writer even before I wanted to be an actor. But I went to University of Windsor and got a BFA in acting. So I was doing a ton of acting before. And to be honest, it never occurred to me that voice acting was an option. Like I never had it in my mind, I was going to go after that sector of the acting world. I was doing a lot of theater when I was in university. Did a bunch of plays there, went to Edinburgh and was part of the festival there. So I had a really interesting sort of rich actor's life before I came to the city, the big city, to see, you know, what would happen here. And once I got to the city, I'm in Toronto in Canada, and the most of the work available for me anyway was all in film and television. I did a ton of commercials. I did some series pilots and things like that. So I was pretty busy with all of that stuff. And in and around there somewhere, I must have had a few auditions for voice jobs and didn't book a lot. I probably don't have the most, and maybe some of the viewers will even agree with this, I don't have the most flexible voiceover voice. You know, there are some voice actors who they can really make any kind of accent. They can go, you know, older, really young and all of that. And I didn't have that flexibility. but I also wasn't developing that flexibility. I think, what you feed grows. And so if I had done more voice work, that part of my acting expression might have developed a lot more. But, so Nicole, who was the producer for the Sailor Moon projects, she actually cast me to dub a French series. And I did the dubbing on this French series. I wasn't French. I was doing the English dub. It was a French from France series. I did not do the English dub. I did not do the French dub. I did the English dub for a French show. Yeah. And that's what got me into Nicole's sort of realm of familiarity. We got along really well. I loved her. We had a lot of fun. And so when Sailor Moon took off or began, she invited me in to do some of the voice work for that. So I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself with some of the questions, but I'm sure everyone knows that I also did the mom, Serena's mom's voice first. But actually, first, I did Queen Serenity. So the very first line in the very first episode is actually me. So that's I actually really love that too, that sort of full circle. And then I did the mom on it, and then the mom kind of disappeared from the show, and then later on Sailor Neptune was brought and Sailor Uranus were brought on, and that's when I was invited to audition for Sailor Neptune and got it happily.
That's so epic.
Thank you.
I was so curious. So when you did Queen Serenity, was that for the pilot, or
that was for the pilot? That was for the very first thing they ever did. And I don't even know at that point if Nicole, I certainly didn't know, but I don't know if Nicole even knew if that character was ever going to come back, or if it was something that she was putting me up for something that was going to be a recurring character. But obviously I just did that one line, so nothing came of that part of it. But
No.
You want to do the next question?
Okay, let's see. Next question. When you went to audition for Sailor Moon, what was the experience like? And who was your first voice role in Sailor Moon? And who after? Well, she did say.
So there we go. So I thought I might be getting ahead of myself, but the audition experience was actually very easy. Like, when you're an actor, and I don't know how many actors are watching this, but when you're an actor, you go for a ton of roles that you don't get. So and some roles that you do get, obviously. So that process of going out for things and maybe not getting it and really wanting it, that whole process can be very emotional for the human being inside the actor. And so I actually have very nice memories about every aspect of the Sailor Moon experience, because I didn't have nerves going in. I wasn't really worried. I felt very comfortable with Nicole. I felt like she was on my side, and it still had to be approved by whoever approved who the voices were. But I really felt like I had someone in my corner there, and sure enough, it ended up that I did get chosen for the role. So that was one of the most lovely and easy auditions I've ever had in my life. So it was good.
That sounds wonderful. It's so fun having an insight what you guys go through and how you get. I love knowing that.
Yeah, even as a writer, I love hearing about people's process. So any questions like that, I always am very curious when other people share that with me. So I get that. Yeah.
That's so much nice. Let me see another question. Let me get thanks for the invite before. Sure, guys, no problem. We're happy to have you here. So let me see what the next question is. Okay. So this is really basic. When you started working in Deke Entertainment, I think we kind of covered it. What was it like?
Well, it's still a good question because what was it like is so specific to the experience of dubbing a show, because you're not creating a character. You are trying to evoke as close as you can the whatever feeling you're getting from it. You're not anywhere near where the original creators are, because they're all over in Japan, right? So we're a bunch of Canadian actors and producers trying to also sell to a North American market, right? So that whole process of of going into that voiceover and what would people want, what would strike a chord, what kind of voice to use. That was actually really interesting, and but it's a very almost solitary experience, right? Because when you go in to do any kind of voiceover work, you have the producers in one room and the engineers, they're in one room, and the actors are in a room by themselves, like literally, but you're by yourself when you voice anything or dub anything. So you're in this dark room and you're standing at a podium. And in the case of Sailor Moon, we worked for the dub, we worked with something called a rhythmo band, which I don't know if some of the people here know what that is, but basically they put a screen up and they run the words underneath as subtitles underneath the action. So you're watching the animation play out while they've got the English subtitles running underneath that have been more or less constructed by a professional to match the lip flaps, right? So you don't want the character to be going and the actor to be going because we know that you need your lips closed for So the very talented and it's a tough job to do that kind of translation. They had to work on how sort of what would be the average speed of a read for this part of the animation. How would the actor maybe be doing this? How can we get those lip flaps to match? Do we have to add an or an here just so the lip flaps match? So it's very complicated, and the more you do it, the better you get. But we were all, I think I speak for all of us, we were all learning as we go, because I don't know that how many of us had actually worked with Rhythmo Band before. I mean, there were a lot of professional voice actors in that group, but doing that kind of dubbing is very, very specific. So that was an adventure, but I loved it, and I enjoyed the challenge.
It's so cool. I love doing it.
And it turned out amazing.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Do you want to ask her the following question? Oh, and this one you want to add it together since it's kind of more or less the same.
This one is
4 and 5 together.
Okay. So the following question was: did you meet up with your fellow cast members? And did you mostly record on your own, or were you able to record with other voice actors in the same room?
Yeah, that's such a good question that bounces off what I just said, because usually the actors are by themselves. And I think most of the actors who were on Sailor Moon would tell you they recorded by themselves. And I certainly did when I did that line for Queen Serenity, and when I did the lines for the mom, I was always by myself. But when they introduced the Sailor Neptune, Sailor Uranus couple, we got to record together. And that was so much fun, because then you're in the room with somebody else. You can sort of bounce off each other. It's nice as an actor to work with other people and get that response and get that energy. So almost all of the Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune segments we recorded together. There might have been a few times when we didn't, because we had conflicting schedules, or maybe one of us was in a scene and the other one wasn't. But we were in that booth usually together.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to picture them.
Yeah. It was really, really, really lovely. Yeah, it was really nice.
A lot of voice actors say, like she said, like Barbara said, that they have to feed off of like pre-recordings from other actors that have already recorded prior to them coming in. So that's good that they got to work together.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun recording session.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Okay, let me see what comes after. Is it kind of more or less what we did?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, this is
this one. Okay. Did the recording process change over time as the show progressed?
That's a good question. Well, I think probably only fundamentally in what I just mentioned, which was going from working by myself to working with another actor, that changed. Oh, I have an interesting little tidbit. So something that you might I mean, I don't know how you as audience members receive the sounds of our voices, but I do remember at the beginning when I was cast as Sailor Neptune, and Sarah as well. We were both instructed, or somehow we all agreed together that the characters were going to be like older teenagers to the younger, the younger group. So we still talked quite high pitched, and we talked quite quickly. And I don't know if that had to do with also what we were dubbing against, but you'll see at a certain point, and I've never marked down where exactly it was, but maybe some of your well-attuned ears can pick that up. There's a certain turning point in the session where we started to speak lower, and our voices got lower and a little bit softer, a little bit slower. We didn't go at that really manic, high, feverish pitch of speed. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that they wanted to really create this idea or lean into this idea that Uranus and Neptune were young women and not girls, not even teenagers, that we were young women living, on our own and all of that sort of stuff, and coming at the whole Sailor Moon world problems from the perspective of people with a little bit more experience versus children who are trying to be children, but also being, conquering the world.
I love that because it's very accurate to the characters and what the process was like.
I feel like that's how it definitely was perceived. The way they would portray themselves is definitely a more mature version of the girls.
Yeah, like what you just said, and they had their place, and I'm like, they're on another level. They could, the other girls could look up to, basically.
Yeah. We didn't go into it with that in mind. That happened during the recording sessions. So that was something that evolved. So to answer the question, that is that was something that definitely changed for me during the course of the recording.
Wow. We both did.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Barbara, from the characters you voiced in Sailor Moon, which was your favorite and why?
Well, I obviously Sailor Neptune. I mean, well, and I will also be honest, I don't know if anyone asked about this, but I will also be honest that I didn't really get the show when I was doing Serena's mom, because I was only seeing Serena, the scenes with the mom were all pretty bratty. You don't see the show, right? You just see the scenes you're recording. So I was like, oh, this kid is so bratty, and the mom has to be so mom, and so I didn't understand the show until later when I started to record the Sailor Neptune stuff, and that's when I really understood this whole principle of this group of young girls and young women trying to defend the world against evil, and how profoundly important that was in terms of storytelling for young people, and it was one of the first shows that featured an almost all female. I mean, it is maybe all female cast, right? So that was a huge thing, and it took me a while to appreciate that. So Sailor Neptune is definitely my favorite voice ever that I've done.
Is this one?
Oh, okay. What was it?
Okay, so when you're assigned a role of a character, what comes to mind that inspires you to give them a certain voice?
That's a great question, because I think all actors really have to go into that booth with something in mind, right? You're not just going in as an automaton and sort of just saying words. You are coming into the environment with some identity markers in mind. And so just riffing off what I just said, I think for me the important thing was connecting to the fact that that Neptune was a serious young woman who, she had an important job to do, and so the way I would prepare for that, I mean, beyond what actors do to warm up their voices, for all of the yelling and screaming and crying and all the things that you have to do in these kinds of action voices. Your voice actually literally has to be physically prepared for that, clearly. But then there's the, like, how am I going to approach a role? And definitely I just tried to get as much information as I could about the character, whatever they knew about her. Plus, of course, I was being directed by Nicole, and then again, when Sarah and I would work together, we would we wanted to make sure that we were coming at our voices and our characters from different angles, which I think obviously the characters are different from each other. But I think all of that comes into play when you're interpreting a role, not just going in there and trying to match, lip flaps.
I love that. Oh my God, I love Barbara so much.
Feeling is mutual.
So sweet. Okay, so the following question I have for you is, do you have a favorite episode in Sailor Moon?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if this will surprise anybody, and I do want to know if anyone has a favorite episode of Sailor Neptune so I can compare notes. But for me, bar none, is the episode, I think I wrote it down somewhere, I think it's 110, episode 110, where Neptune and Uranus sort of, they appear to die, and there's a very extended scene. It's very beautifully done, like with that watercolor background, and there's some beautiful lines in there about where Neptune is telling Uranus that she's not selfish, that that she has to be true to her heart, whatever that line is. I think it's a really beautiful scene, so it's a very easy call for me to make that one as my favorite.
Yeah, that is such a heartwarming.
I know.
That made me cry.
Yeah, we all cry.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I love a scene that touches the heart. I'm all about a scene that touches the heart, especially in the middle of crisis. So there's a duality of these characters, and this is also what's so beautiful about the show, right? Is that it's not just about characters saving the world. It's really about how they interact with each other and what they mean to each other, how they support each other, how they love each other. So I think that scene gives us a real taste of that side of Neptune and Uranus.
Yes, those episodes are strong. My sister the other day, she put one of the episodes when the Sailor Scouts started dying, and I'm like, I can't look at that. Turn it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, turn it off. Can't see it. Do you want to read the next one?
This one. If Viz Media were to hire you for the new show Sailor Moon, would you do it? Would you voice the same character you did in the past, or would you be interested in voicing new ones?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. If I were to voice another Sailor Moon, I would be honored, like beyond honored, to be able to recreate Sailor Neptune. So she's so strong in my heart. So I would absolutely 100% vote for that. But the real answer to that's my heart answer to the question. But the real answer to the question is that I quit acting a while back. I wanted to put my attention on writing. So I'm truly actually not interested in, stepping in front of a camera and being a character. I mean, I'm happy to do this kind of stuff. This doesn't count for me. This is just me being me. But I saw in reality, I wouldn't go into a voice booth again and do it. But in this imaginary world, my answer would be, if I did want to, absolutely I would do it, and absolutely I would do Sailor Neptune if I could.
I love your answer. You're sincere. I love that. It's a good, honest question. Okay. Okay. And if I what was your first voice acting job? Was it?
I think the first voice acting job might have been that French series I mentioned earlier that became the doorway to Sailor Neptune, to Sailor Moon rather, because like I said, my focus wasn't really on voice jobs. My focus was on camera jobs. So I think that French series was my first one.
Okay. Do you want to do the next one?
Oh. So the next question is, what helps you get into character when you were doing the voice acting?
Yeah, I think what helps get into character is preparing physically, as I mentioned, preparing my voice, and then thinking about reading. I have to read the scenes. I have
Okay.
to sit with the scenes, and we didn't have a long time to sit with the scenes. Like
Right.
we weren't given scripts ahead of time. We were going in, getting our material,
Right.
and having to make decisions very, very quickly. So that process, though, of going into the booth, looking over the material as they would be setting us up, I would be looking over the material, looking at the lines, looking at what was going to happen that day, and just trying to map out what the emotional through line of this particular episode was. Is this an episode where I'm super determined to solve a problem, or is this an episode where I need to thwart a bad guy? So I would just sort of get into that kind of like energy space of whatever the upcoming scene was going to be. Or like the 110 we were just describing, is it about the softer side of this character and how much she loves Amara?
Oh, okay. So when you guys would do that, Barbara, I didn't write that question, but I did want to ask you, when you guys are doing that, which you just explained, did you guys get to hear the Japanese voice actors, the scenes before, or it was just like you said, the scripts?
Yes, we did. I that's a great question, and I had actually I wasn't even sure if am I remembering this correctly, but I am 99% sure that we heard the Japanese first as they were doing the rhythmo band, and so they would show us. So they had those we had paper scripts. They also had this rhythmo band, which was with the subtitles underneath the animation, and but we would watch it through once or a couple of times before we recorded. And the first time we would watch it with the Japanese voices, so we could hear how they were approaching scenes, and then they would take that down so that we could do the our own interpretations.
Oh, okay. I was kind of curious because I know you guys do the rhythm band, but I'm like, I wanted to know if you guys would hear also the Japanese as well.
Yeah. So we definitely did at some point. What I can't quite remember is if they played their voices for us while we were like in our headsets while we were recording, or if they turned it down and just had us record to the visuals, because I'm trying to remember how we did that part. But we definitely heard it, so we could hear how they had been originally interpreted for sure.
Okay. Oh, that's a good answer. I wanted to know. Hi, you guys. I know a bunch of people waiting at the bottom. Hi, Gio. Hi, everybody. Okay, let me see where we left off. Okay, this is a good question. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
What does the Sailor Moon show and Sailor Moon fandom or community mean to you?
Oh, so much. And like I said, I didn't understand the show until I started to record Neptune. I didn't understand the impact of the show until I want to say probably the early 2010s. I think once I realized that not only had there been this fan following back in the day, because remember that wasn't a time of social media, so it wasn't really easy to track how popular something was. So after I recorded it, I didn't know that it was living on through VHS tapes and however else people were watching it. I had no idea. And then I think I was invited to my first Comic-Con maybe in 2014. And I haven't done a lot, like just for the record, I haven't done a lot of Comic-Cons. Okay. But I did go to one in 2014. And there were other Sailor Moon actors there. And that was the first time I really understood, this has not just reached this audience but it's also built this community over, that was probably where we're looking at the 10-year, 15-year, 20-year anniversaries of it, right? So then I really understood. And of course, because Sailor Neptune or Amara and Michelle, they are part of the LGBTQ plus communities, knowing how much it meant to young people growing up to see their lives reflected to them in a show I'm just so deeply honored and proud to be part of that. Also, again, we talked about girls being the leads, but to have LGBTQ plus people being some of the important characters in a show being honestly portrayed after a while. I mean, once everyone knew, and I think someone's going to ask about, did we know? And I'll get to that question. But it's a very important question. But when the question is asked to me, what it means to the community, to me, there's the Sailor Moon community, and then there's the community of people who really needed to see themselves reflected on media. And so I am very, very proud of that. Not that I had anything to do with it personally, but I'm proud to be associated with part of it. That brings so much to a community that is, either marginalized or attacked or whatever. So so I'm really happy about being a small, tiny part of positive reinforcements for that.
Oh, I think you're a big part for them. A very big part. There's so many people that reached out to me and Dude's like, oh, I'm so excited, it's coming. I'm like, yeah. Okay, let me see. So you're gonna answer this question, so I want to skip that one. Okay, do you miss voicing your characters in Sailor Moon and the people you work with there?
Well, because I didn't work with anyone except for Sarah, and obviously the people that were in the booth, the directors and producers and such, I didn't really build strong community relationships with the actors until much later. So Loretta and I didn't ever, maybe very rarely cross paths, and we've become friendly over the years. I become friendly with Katie Griffin. I've become friendly with Linda Ballantyne. I've taken an improv class with Terry Hawks. So there are people. Karen Bernstein is an agent, or maybe she is still an agent, I believe. But at an agency that I was part of. So these people entered my life kind of after the fact and became people that I very much admire and respect. They're all incredible. They deserve all of the fandom in the world. All of these people are incredible. Toby Proctor, Vince Carazona, they're all just wonderful, human beings. They're not just wonderful actors, they're wonderful human beings. And I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of really important people. But obviously Sarah and I had a beautiful, comfortable connection in the booth, but we weren't behind the scenes friends. And in fact, people often ask about her, and I think she went to LA, and I haven't seen her since those days. So I know that there's quite a few fan companies that want to connect with her and would love to see the two of us together. But I think she's on a different journey, so my community friendships with any of the actors all came after Sailor Moon.
Wow, I had no idea. I thought you guys would be within the place, but like you said, it was afterwards. That's so cool.
Yeah. Because when you're doing a recording session, you're exiting the booth and someone's coming in. There's literally no time to say much more than, hey, hi, I'm Barbara, and who are you? And
my goodness,
no time, because it's go. So
oh my God.
There's no common area where we would hang out. We were just so busy. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you guys got to connect afterwards. What a blessing. That's great.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. Yeah.
I love that. I love this. I love this. Finding out, where are we? Okay. Did she kind of this one now? Okay. So here's another question. Do you want to ask it? Since that's already your person.
What is your advice for someone who wants to go into the voice acting?
Yeah,
profession?
This is a great question because as I've probably said, I'm not super in that world because my world was mostly, when I was an actor, was mostly on camera. However, there is something I would like to recommend to the person who asked that question. I have a dear friend called Wendy Lands. Her name is Wendy Lands. She does a bunch of voice work, and she's also Toronto based. And she runs courses for voice actors. But not only that, but she does reels on her Instagram that give a ton of advice to voice actors wanting to look out. So I wrote down her Instagram here. So if you're looking for somebody who really knows what they're talking about and who would be open to questions, it's voiceover, all lowercase, all one word, _pro, PRO, _Wendy Lands, WENDYLANDS. Tell her I said hi, and that I recommended you go see her.
Okay.
Because I think, with any kind of acting, it's really a matter of doing as much work as you can, getting getting practice, getting comfortable with it, maybe with your camera or whatever, you can like really learn how to do that. That I talked about flexibility of voice, something that I didn't work on, but if you want to be a voiceover actor, having a flexible voice, being able to do not just different voices, but different tones and different attitudes and all of that, I think that's a really good way to become skilled at that work, taking some courses potentially, and then meeting people, right? Going out there. I mean, it's hard to get voiceover work if you don't have an agent, because most studios will only accept auditions from agents who present your name. So then it's a matter of putting together a tape, and you can put together your own tape and you can send that out to agents and see if anyone will take you on. And then it's a matter of, it's all a matter of kind of trial and error. So so I think that's probably my best advice, to put it together and to get an agent. Yeah.
That's good. Good advice. And we'll share the link again so they can have access to it.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Did we touch this one already? She kind of explained that she didn't. I'm going to ask it either way, but I think you kind of touched base on it already. After recording, did you ever sit down and watch the show Sailor Moon on your own?
Yeah, so it was like not until a long time later. Probably when I realized in the early 2010s how popular it was. I think I need to see the show. I think I need to see what the fuss is all about. So it was very far after the fact that's not entirely true. I probably watched some of the episodes in the early days that were on TV when I probably did watch a couple of episodes in the early days just to see how it was, but I was busy. I was a mom, I was a working actor. I was trying to be a writer. Like I had a lot going on. So it wasn't my first priority, but when it became very popular, I was like, yeah. And then I really did consciously sit down to watch episodes to see, because I wanted to connect with what the community was connecting with.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because one thing is you recording and seeing like the scenes you're covering versus actually sitting down and seeing the whole story play out. And
I'm glad that you got to do it though when you had the time. Of course, because being a mom is a big responsibility.
And I was also working, so it was like trying to balance everything at the same time.
A busy woman, businesswoman, mom woman, everything. Wonder Woman.
That's right. I'll take that.
All right. Do you want to read the next one?
Did she say this one?
No.
If you had to voice another character from the show, who would it be? She loves Neptune.
I love Neptune. I wouldn't do anyone else. Only Neptune.
She does love her character.
Okay, let me see. Okay, well, I think we kind of touched it, but I'm going to read it either way. You can tell me if you want to skip it or not. What role has been your personal favorite of yours in your whole voice acting career?
Yeah, I mean, again, I would have to say Sailor Neptune not only because of all the reasons I've stated, but also because I don't have a huge collection of voice jobs in my back pocket.
Well,
So
you're being sincere. That's good.
it's easy to answer. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, this is a fun one. Let's see if she can do it for us. Barbara, can you play or act out a line of Sailor Neptune for us?
What line do you want? Do you want
Anything you want. Anything that makes you comfortable. I'm not gonna make you like
Neptune
Does anyone
planet power? Deep submerge.
Hello, clap. Thank you. Okay, guys, now I'm really gonna. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna skip this one because I know someone did ask this at the end, and I want to leave it for that person because I did ask it, but I'm going to leave it for that person. So let's actually get to the questions to the people who actually wrote on the post. Okay, so this is Miss Lore, author. My question for Barbara.
I love L'Oreal, sorry.
She's such a sweetie pie. It says, since you voiced Serena's mom, how do you think she'll react if she finds out the truth about her daughter? Oh.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. That's a good question. It's kind of a hard question because as a mother, you don't want your children to be in danger. But as a human being, you also go, well, if my child is actually helping to save the world, who am I to stand in the way of that? So I think that's a hard question to answer, like really truthfully, because I do think I would, if as a mother, I would be terrified if my child was in harm's way all the time. But on the other hand, yeah, I do think that, when your children are, I mean, the problem, of course, is that Serena's also young. Yeah. So she's not like if she was a young woman and out of the household, then of course, and I found out, I wouldn't even feel like I would have any place to say anything about that for sure. And I think that's a good stance. But when it's a child underage, being in harm's way, I think it would be very difficult as a mother to go, okay, you keep doing that. I think I would probably say, can you just hold off until you're a little older?
It's true. She's such a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
saving the world. It's intense. I would be concerned too. When you're a kid, you don't see those things. You think, oh my goodness, they're so cool. They're saving the world. When you get older, even though I'm not a mom, but I'm like, they're just children fighting this megaverse.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate to put a damper on things, but it's very hard for me to not give an honest answer to anything. Never mind that one, because because in kind of like a very superficial way, it's so cool that your kid is that important. But in a really true heart maternal way, I can't imagine going that. You go off and save the world.
Yeah, I'll be like, you come back at 8.
Come on, can you be back by 8? Yeah.
You can live in that words for too long. You can read this one. This one's quite long. Oh, yeah. Retro Sofa Inc. wrote, I heard you and Sarah recorded your lives together. Is that true? And could you talk about how that might have influenced your performance at the show?
Yeah, so I think I don't know if the person is here or if they were here at the beginning. So I feel like I did maybe touch on that earlier, which was that we did record together, and we definitely. I mean, I shouldn't say we. I should speak for myself. I definitely got a lot of energy from working with somebody else and bouncing off them and getting that interplay. So yeah, that was great.
Perfect. You put 3 questions. Could you? Could you possibly talk about how different it was playing Miss Tsukino versus playing Sailor Neptune?
Yeah. So that, I mean, obviously that was that was also in the era when I didn't get the show. I didn't understand what was happening. I didn't know what it was about. So it felt more, that really felt like a job for me. I was going in, I was doing my work, I was going home. I could do it pretty quickly. I wasn't in the booth long. I could do a bunch. I mean, we all do. I don't know if I've said that before or if you all know that already, but you do a bunch of episodes at once. You're not going in and doing one episode. Okay, so that's good information. Yeah. You do a bunch of episodes at once. They give you about like a 2-hour window because they know after a certain point the voices get tired and the energy gets tired and it's very intense, right? So they'll give you the amount of episodes you can comfortably record in 1 or 2 hours. So but because Serena's mom didn't have so many lines, I could do a whole bunch in a couple of sessions. So those sessions went by very quickly for me and I didn't really think about it. So once I started to record Neptune, there was more of an investment in it for me because I knew I was creating a much more, I mean, I shouldn't say Serena's mom wasn't important, but I certainly understood or certainly feel that Sailor Neptune in the big picture is a much more important character. And so I I took that in.
Right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's the same person.
It's the same person.
I'm sure you've been asked about this before, but were you told about Uranus and Neptune's true relationship prior to recording, or were you just told they were cousins?
Yeah, so whenever I've done a panel, we always get this question. It's a really important question. And of course, because we were recording in the late 1990s, we were told, I mean, we didn't need to be told, but we were told the true relationship between them, how it was being portrayed in Japan, because it was very progressive, right? It was very progressive at the time. I mean, thank goodness it's not considered progressive anymore, although we could have a whole discussion about how it's being dealt with in, nowadays, which is also not cool. But in those days, the idea, the reason that they explained it to us, that they were skirting around the fact that this was a romantic relationship, was that in Japan, the show was geared to adults, and in North America, it was being geared to children.
Yes.
And I still don't buy this excuse because, of course, children, and we see that now, right? Children are the most accepting of any kind of relationship, right? They don't care what the rules are of certain community rules, right? So, so I think we understand that much better now. But at the time, the people in charge decided that children couldn't handle that. And, I mean, they could handle her flirting with Tuxedo Mask, but they couldn't handle 2 women together, right? So, so anyway, but we did understand. We definitely did understand. And it was definitely a topic of conversation amongst those of us who were in the booth together at any point.
Right.
Yeah. But sorry, just to finish that thought, but that is one thing that I'm very grateful for, that in the big picture, that has been, that has been pushed aside and the relationship is clear and it's honored now and respected.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Very different now.
Yeah. Has changed. All right. Okay. I'll read this one. It's a little bit off topic, but I'll read it. It says a Disney mom to Barbara. What is your favorite Disney movie? Would you want a Sailor Scout to team up with? I don't know if you've seen these shows, movies, Barbara. Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Okay, so I don't know all the Disney movies enough to be able to go, and I don't watch them like sort of on repeat in such a way that I could go, this is definitely my favorite. Because I know there's the kind of person who watches movies over and over and over again, and there's the kind of person who watches them once and moves on. I'm in that second category. I watch a movie once and I move on in general. But if I had to answer that question, I think probably one of my favorite Disney movies is Finding Nemo. I love the story. I love the talk about a heart story. It's an adventure and a heart story, and that's my favorite combination, as I said earlier, where something, where you really want to know what's going to happen next, and you worry about the lead lead characters, but you're also invested emotionally. So Finding Nemo is a good one. And I think that probably for the second part of the question about the Avengers versus Guardians of the Galaxy, I think I would say Guardians of the Galaxy for the same reason. They really focus, I think, quite a lot on the emotional relationships between the characters. I believe more than the Avengers. I might be getting it wrong, but I feel like in my experience watching them, those movies, and I have seen, some of both of them.
So
I mean, so I don't know if I've got that right, but my sense is that Guardians of the Galaxy are more. There's a lot of emotion forward story stuff that's happening there, so I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good answer. Okay, so this one is do you want to read it?
Noblesse oblige.
Okay, do you want to read the question?
When working in the franchise, were you aware of
we kind of answer it. We're going to read it either way just to be respectful, and then we kind of answer that question. But read either way just so the question be read.
Okay. Were you aware of the true relationship between Amar and Michelle, and then how much different is Sailor Moon's mom to Sailor Neptune?
It's kind of more or less what the person asked before.
Yeah. So I answered that. So they were different, and I am very. The relationship between Amara and Michelle is extremely important to me as part of the impact of the show and the impact of that part. Yeah. Just in case people are coming in and out, I don't want to. I might have said something earlier that someone's coming in now, and so I want to make sure that everyone knows that I did talk at length on how important that is to me and how much I value that part of that character.
Yeah. Okay, and this one is Sailor Moon XM. My question for Barbara is, what has she done since working on Sailor Moon?
Great question. Thank you. Because obviously I did a lot of acting work after Sailor Moon, but I'm just going to get up and show you my babies. But
your babies.
My babies.
Our talented Barbara.
But my heart is really, really with writing. And I've written 2 books that are YA books, meaning young adult. One of them is The Dark House. And then the other one is Messenger 93. And these should be able to order these anywhere online, or independent bookstores can bring them in. They're still available. I don't know about things like Amazon and such, but independent bookstores can bring them in. They're also available on digital books. So my heart is really with these stories. So if anyone ever wants to support Sailor Neptune, a wonderful way to do it is to buy my books. And they're good books. I think they're really good books.
Tell us a little bit about the stories about it, so we get an idea.
Yeah, are they thrillers? Are they?
Yeah, so they're a bit thrillerish. Yeah. So The Dark House is about a young girl, 16-year-old, who lives on an island with a very sort of mad scientist kind of dad, and she discovers that her life isn't what she thought it was, and she goes on this big adventure to get to the truth. So that's The Dark House.
I know.
And then Messenger 93 is kind of a little bit of an inverse of all the stuff we're talking about with Sailor Moon, about kids going out to save the world. Messenger 93 asks the question, what if you really believe in your heart that you're special and you're meant for something great, and maybe you're meant to go and save the world, but it doesn't quite turn out the way it does in a story about someone who turns into be like, Sailor Serena is told at the beginning, you are special, you're going to save the world, and she ends up being special and having to save the world. But in this book, the main character believes that she's being told a message that she has to save the world, but it doesn't turn out quite the way she thinks it will. So it really asks that story. So yeah,
I'm excited.
All right, I'm ready for the books.
Someone put their amazing, so some people have read them.
Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, I love her too. Yeah, so she reads my books. We're connected on Instagram. Love Courtney.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, she's
I'm working on
your
book
book
3.
already?
I'm working on book 3 right now. So
Go, Barbara!
Much success.
Oh my goodness, yes, of course. Much success to you. Many more to come.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thanks.
Oh my goodness. I think those are all my questions, and anyone else wants to ask any follow-up questions. So we covered the ones that we had saved on the post and the ones that I did for Barbara myself. Guys, you want to ask anything to Barbara now that we have a little bit of free time? How much time do we have?
2
more minutes.
I'm trying to see.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, is there a difference going from the Deke dub to the
Cloverway
Cloverway dub? Well,
You know what? I didn't notice any difference at all in terms of recording and what happened, because it was all the same team for me. So I personally didn't. Did you all notice a difference between the two?
Yeah.
The two.
what did you notice?
Well, the voice actors changed.
Oh, right. Yes.
They
And
changed the
actually,
actors.
that might be where the turning point was. Remember, I mentioned earlier about going from a very higher, much quicker paced read on Sailor Neptune. The change in going to the lower and the slower version, that might have happened actually. Between those two dubs.
Yeah, it's so funny because like the voice actors, yes, of course they changed over time, but some of you guys actually stayed there, which I'm glad. I'm glad for the ones that did stay.
So happy.
I was laughing because I hadn't realized that you were the mom of Serena until the other day that I put it on DVD before even having this chat with you, and I'm like, it sounds like Barbara. I'm like, it sounds like Barbara. It sounds like Barbara. And like, yeah, maybe it's her. And we looked at her, I'm like, it's Barbara.
Yeah.
As kids, you don't really realize.
No.
But I guess older, when you're like a fan of a show, and
Yeah.
you become attached to certain like characters and
their
voice
voices,
actors. When you look into that, then you start
clicking them
like,
up.
oh my god, I can't believe they voiced this character.
Yeah, we tend to do that a lot since we love looking into voice actors. Me and my sister, we love looking into your work, and so then we start looking up other jobs that you can.
Yeah,
you get more.
I have an IMDb page, so you can see my my other acting gigs that I've done. I did some Goosebumps, and I did some other jobs that a lot of people that are in the fan base also love those shows as well. So there's a bit of crossover in some of the stuff I've done. Yeah.
Oh
You did Goosebumps! Oh my god!
That's insane.
I had to look it up.
Oh, they put this is Courtney. Courtney's asking, can you tell us the genre of your third book?
Oh, it's very similar, Courtney. It's like in the vein of a young, like she's a little older. She's 18 in this one, and she has a father who I don't want to say too much at this point, but it's the same kind of it's the same kind of feel. So hopefully I'll be telling you about it at some point. But it's the same kind of eerie, dark feel. But yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say too much at this point.
Oh my god, and I'm loving everyone's question. Here's where it collects. I loved hearing you about dubbing. Was elected for in the digital age, and I look forward to checking out your books. Oh my goodness, yes, we have to support Sailor Neptune.
Show love and support, guys.
Okay, this one is for I can't read it. Jordan, your birthday's coming up soon. Well, happy birthday in advance.
Oh, happy birthday. Is this Jordan? Happy birthday, Jordan.
Are we up to time, or I'm thinking like the time for Instagrams. I know that's okay. It's okay. Get to level. Okay, guys. Just 2 more questions for Barbara. We're gonna end the live so she can go and obviously we can save the live because I know Instagram has a certain time frame.
A time limit.
Yeah, a time limit. Any other questions for Barbara before we end the chat? 2 more questions, guys, and we're done. Anybody else want to ask any questions for Barbara? Because I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask.
But have you seen? Oh,
okay.
Oh, yeah. You weren't here, but I did say that that's my favorite episode that I've ever done. Was when when they die or almost die. I love that episode. Yeah.
That was intense.
Did you watch it? Like watch the scene after you guys recorded it? Did you watch the episode, or you just recorded the scene?
Yeah, well, because we recorded it in real time, you kind of see the scene playing out as you're recording it. So, and then of course I did watch that episode very closely, years later to go, yeah, this really is to really appreciate it from that perspective. But yeah, so I did see that.
Oh my goodness, it's a tough episode. Okay, let me see if anyone else. This one was I always forget to say his name. I'm so sorry. He says, Red Collects. Did you crack any jokes in the booth about cousins?
I mean, it was a long time ago, so I can't remember, perfectly, but I'm sure we cracked a lot of jokes about cousins. Yes. Because as I said earlier, we were told that was going to be the way they approached it. So I do think that we approached a lot of things with that kind of, tongue in cheek.
As a kid, we didn't realize. So when we got older, I kind of raised an eyebrow. I'm like, they can't be.
Yes. Well, it's funny because when I meet fans, now there's a very distinct difference also between the 6-year-old who was watching Sailor Moon who had no idea, and the 6-year-old who was watching Sailor Moon and absolutely understood what was happening. So it also depends on the child, right? It depends on the person. What you're aware of, what you're thinking about, what you're, curious about, what you're conscious of, and all of that sort of stuff. So
that's very true.
You'll always see that spectrum of response.
That's very true. That's very true. I didn't give too much thought. That's very true. She made a good point. She made a very good point. All right. Is there anything else? If not, I'm like skipping ahead. I think my thing. Okay. Let me see. Have you seen the entire Sailor Moon, Crystal, Eternal, and Cosmos? Oh, she has seen that.
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Barbara's a busy woman. We completely understand. All right, you guys. I think we're going to officially end the live so Barbara can go and enjoy her day. Thank you, Barbara, for spending the time with us and the Sailor Moon fans that have joined us today. Thank you guys for joining us. Having my sister can join me this time.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. That was lots of fun. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for having me. Ladies, thanks for having me.
I love having you. I bring a little finger, but so far I have the Sailor Neptune figure on the other side. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes. Oh my God. Bye, Barbara. Everybody, thank you so much. Bye. How do I turn this off here? Oh my goodness.
Excuse me, Miss Michelle.
Oh, hello there, Masanori. What have you got there?
I brought you these roses, Miss Michelle, because I think you're special.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I chose the red ones because it's supposed to be the most romantic.
Huh?